Okay. We're in business. Okay, to start with, I want to show you what 1 pound of clay looks like. This is 1 pound of clay. This is 2 pounds of clay. Generally, I start with 1 pound of clay when I'm making a tube from a cardboard roll. And I start with 2 pounds if I am using this handy dandy cordless power tool, which is a caulk gun that I use for clay. I have a die on the end of it right now. It's a round die. I also use other shaped dies like these. Square, this crazy one, and then this one is useful for soap holders. Okay. Now a lot of people don't like using extruders because they're hard to clean. You get a lot of clay inside, you don't clean it right away, the clay sticks, and it's very hard. So I have a little trick that I use, and I will take 2 pounds of clay and I'll roll it into a tube 12 inches long. So a measuring device helps with that. And I buy these wet umbrella bags, and I cut them in half, and I will use a half of an umbrella bag to bag up my 2 pounds of clay before I put them in the extruder, so that as it squishes the clay out through the die, the bag protects the walls of the extruder from getting clay on them. And so I just pop out my little residue at the end, and I don't really have to clean my extruder at all. I just have to clean the die. Cool, huh? Isn't that awesome? So I'm just going to pound on some clay up here over the next few minutes and make it 1 foot long so you see what my tube looks like. But isn't that a good trick? And that's really loud. Yeah. Last year this lady was so excited about it, she came and she was taking pictures of brand. I have to use this hand. That's right. She said she doesn't know how to make it work any different. So I just pick it. This one works fine.
Try putting it right here.
Well, I'm going to be sitting there in a minute.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe.
I mean, I'm talking and it's on and it's not doing anything. So it's okay. I get people's attention when I'm using it. Will you grab a pair of scissors from one of the cashier stations for me? I just need it for a second. So I can be in the picture, right? Okay, great, that's perfect. So once I have my 1 foot long log of clay, I am ready to put it inside of a half of a wet umbrella bag here. I've got a half of a umbrella bag here. So I'm going to demo how I fill the half of an umbrella bag. I got to cut off the bottom end. That's okay, I'll use this one. You can also use those long skinny bags of newspapers come in. That works really well for this purpose too. You can leave about a 1/4 inch of the clay sticking out on the one end, and you want to smooth the plastic half bag as well as possible. So I fold it over, and normally I have some tape, but I don't have any tape on me right now, so we're going to do it without the tape. Usually I'll like twist it and tape it. I'll tape it all down. And I don't have tape on me right now. So let me tell you a little bit about this extruder. This is a Milwaukee brand. I think it's 30 centimeters or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But it's got if anybody wants, you can take a picture of the catalog number 2441-20. It's a 12-volt battery operated caulk and adhesive gun. And it comes with the aluminum tube here. Battery. And you recharge it. So no cord. Oh, to help. Okay, that was on purpose, just to make you laugh.
And it's
Okay.
it's just a caulk. It's a caulk. Just a caulk gun.
It's a caulk gun. It's a caulk gun. Yeah.
Nice.
So then I mark all my little buttons so I remember what they do. So if you push this in, you can pull this out, just like loading a caulk gun, right? And you unscrew your guy. So now we can load it. It's empty. We're gonna load it.
So where'd you get it's not set up, is it set up just like that? Like how did you get the?
It comes like this with a black plastic thing on it and then like a sausage filling tube.
Sure.
But
How did you get those different dyes?
we've got a great question here. Where did I get these nifty white dyes? They're from a gal, a retired engineer who has a 3D printer, and she's in Boston. Her business is called Little Chip Tools, and so she makes these dyes, and she's got them on her website. And I read about them somehow, and they're awesome. They make different shapes. So I'm just going to make a tube shape because we're kind of concentrating on tubes today. Some of the other examples I have here is, and this is a full bore 2-inch diameter tube. So it uses the full shape of the actual caulk gun. This is a full bore square shape, and then she's got some interesting steampunk shapes here, a hexagon shape, and then you might say, what is that for? That's a funny little U shape. I use it to make a sponge and soap dish here. So you can kind of see how it's built like this. So that's pretty nice, and I cut it off at a length I feel is appropriate, and I cut some holes in the bottom. And I have a 1x2-inch piece of wood at home where I will balance it on the piece of wood and then run a texture roller over it. So a lot of mine in my book have textures on both sides, and I put a stamp on the bottom that's supported with that 1x2-inch piece of wood. So these are from Little Chip Tools out of Boston.
Can I You don't have a pen? Can
I don't
write
have
that
any
down?
pen or paper.
I'll write it down later.
Well, you'll find me. You'll see me around.
Okay.
Just come and ask me, and then we'll go find some paper. Okay. Okay, great. So clearly, I have some people who want to see the darn extruder do its job, right? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. I gotta get it. I didn't bring my little wire tool, so I gotta get one back here. Wire tool. Okay, so here is our tube. Normally I will tape the plastic up because I don't want it to squeeze out the back end of the tube, the back end here. But I don't have any tape, so we're just going to wing it up just a little bit. And if anybody came late, this is 2 pounds, exactly 2 pounds of clay rolled into a log or a tube or a coil. Use terminology for 12 inches long. That's what I did. I'm just going to slide it in. And then I'm going to put this on. I will push this in as far as it'll go. I'll push the little button. And then I set it to 4. That seems to be a good speed, I think. And you can hold it upside down if you want. We just start going. It's not going very fast. It's not going very fast because I just don't want to stress the machine or anything. And pretty soon there should be clay squeezing out the end of this die.
That's plugged in.
It's battery operated, cordless. Home Depot had them cheaper than Lowe's, but they all carry it. It's Milwaukee brand. It's still going. I just can hardly hear it.
It's starting. You're just starting right now.
So you can see it coming out. So at this point, I might stop it. At this point, I usually stop it, and I have a nice little wire tool that's a one-handed one, but I got to use 2 hands for things today. I just cut off that end. I'm going to recycle it. So my next tube part that comes out should be pretty even on this end. I did not wedge the clay or anything today. I just took it out of the bag, so sometimes we get a little curvature. That's okay. Run with it. So.
Watch her report that thing.
You're not supposed to.
I got a loaded caulk gun here. So we do have a little curve coming out. As I said, it's not wedged. But you figure out what you're going to make. I think I'll make an owl today. So I'm looking for about an owl height. Now you need a little extra to go across the top of his head. You might want to support it a little bit here. So I think this is looking about right. So at this point, so now I'm going to cut this extrusion. Looks like a macaroni noodle. Okay. Got a little extrusion going on. Nice. So I think that'll work just fine. When I make a tube out of using the cardboard tubes, then I will usually get a little bit straighter tube. I think at this point we'll let this one sit a little bit or firm up, and in the meantime I will make a tube showing you, demoing how I use those, okay? Let's put that aside for now. This can just kind of firm up a little bit. Okay, yeah.
Give you an advantage of just rolling the slab up and making a tube.
How am I going to make a tube out of a slab?
Why is this better than rolling up the slab?
You never know what you're going to find.
It's not necessarily better. It's just different, and it's another method, and it could be faster if you're really good
I
at it.
understand about the extrusions and having different shapes. But to just make it a cylinder, we can just roll like a piece of clay.
That's the next demo, right here. So, it's just another method. So now I'm going to show how I roll a tube. I have, this is a tool I invented, I guess. And it's a 2-inch dowel cut a foot long, and it's got a 1/2-inch dowel on top, so I can use it for rolling, and I can also use it for supporting inside as I shape something, right? Okay. So 1 pound of clay. This was a 2 pound. I've gotten it. This is 1 pound of clay, and if you round it off, it looks like that. That's 1 pound of clay.
I just answered your own question.
I mean, you could do it either way. Sometimes power tools are just fun. You know? And,
Well, I mean,
and
so much.
to make this shape, it's a lot faster for me to use this, to just make a tube.
I do like really small ones, and the smaller you go, the more painful it is to squeeze it. It can be really. So I think something like that looks great.
Yeah, I mean, it's cordless, which is nice. Unfortunately, this table makes a big noise when I try to smash it. Okay, so I'm going to use a 2-inch tube because that's the same size as this. It looks like a toilet paper tube, but it's not. It is. This is thinner, the toilet paper tube. The 2-inch tube is thicker, and it's a little bigger. Whatever, it can go in there. So my goal, I have created templates. I go to Dollar Tree and I get placemats, and they're very sturdy, and I cut out the shape I need. So I want to make sure I'm as wide as my template. Yes. These paint sticks are a 1/4 inch thick. That's the goal I'm looking for.
You need to bring just a little wedging table.
If you end up with a big oval shape and you're not quite hitting the squarish kind of shape you want, you can cut off a bit like this and attach it to the corners you need it. Flip it over and make sure it's smooth on the other side too. Or well attached. Okay, it looks like I'm hitting my template shape now. Yes, I am. So, I'm going to put my template down, and what I do, everybody's might do it different, is I take my needle tool and I draw around it, but I don't cut it, because I want to cut it straight up and down. And so sometimes it's better just to draw around it like this. I'm holding this knife called a fettling knife straight up and down. I mean, it can be at an angle like this, but you don't want it to lean if you want a nice clean tube. Don't squash up your clay, just put it aside. You might need parts of it later. Okay, so my template shape of 1/4 inch clay slab is ready. So now I got to get my tube ready. Get my tube. And this is the kind of plastic that your vegetables come in at the store. I just cut the bags into pieces. I roll the plastic around the tube pretty tight, and then I tuck both ends in. I turn the clay over just to make sure it's not sticking to the workboard, and now I'm going to roll the clay around the tube. Now clay has a memory, so I'm just going to hold it here for a couple of seconds so it remembers it wants to be a tube.
So did you make the template originally by just wrapping the paper around the tube?
Oh, I'll tell you. So what I did is I took the tube that I wanted and I measured the diameter across and I multiplied it by 3.14 and then I added 1/2 inch because my clay is 1/4 inch thick. And that's how I determined the size of my template. Okay?
Oh my God, can you say that again? Wait.
Sure. Get the math involved.
No, I didn't know there'd be like a Pythagorean theorem answer.
Okay, to determine the length of my template, the width is easy because it's the width. The width is the height of my tube, right? But the length, I take the tube and I measure the outer diameter. I multiplied it by pi, which is 3.14, and then because my clay is 1/4 inch thick, I added 1/2 inch. And that seems to work perfectly for me. Everybody might be different, but that works great for me. So now that we have reminded the clay it's going to be a tube, kind of held it in place like this, now we're going to, I will show you how that works. It looks like maybe it's not big enough, this template, but it actually is. So I will take this and I will squish it out. I want to keep these ends in. I squish it out, and I might even go back a little farther and squish it out. And now, oh, sorry, thank you. Now I find my scratching tool, otherwise known as the slip and score tool, and I do a little bit of scoring right along there. Get my finger wet. And then I come at it the other way and I pull this across. See what I'm doing? I'm pulling it across. I want to keep my ends nice. So now you might say, well, that looks terrible. That's okay, I got tools. I like tools. I had a class in the It was my first workshop I ever did. And there wasn't time for everybody to clean up their workstations, so I'm cleaning today. Anyway, this is a little pony roller, you could say. I think it's for wallpaper, but it works great for teaching a class. And I might go like this, and that helps smooth it a bit. And I might keep working on it a little bit with my thumbs like that, to smooth it out a little bit. And then on the ends, it might not look so great. So I want to make the ends look good too. So I'm kind of smoothing that out. And on this side, where it's an overlap, I want to smooth that out. And it's looking pretty good. There are other tools like that. We'll be whacking things a little later when we do the round head on the owl. You could always do this as well to help smooth that area, but you do want it to look pretty good because you want that seam to disappear. Oh, I should be using this. You want that seam to disappear, so you do work on it for a few seconds.
Well, you need like a mic stand.
I know. They had a remote mic, but it's not working.
Got it.
Okay, so that's looking pretty good to me, okay? So now we're going to take the tube out. This is where you take the plastic, and I got a little too much plastic going on today. I should have cut this piece in half, but I don't have a good pair of scissors on me right now. So I got to tease out the plastic on both sides. You should be able to see all the way through, and then you know you've dug your plastic out, okay? And now I'm going to get my finger inside there, and I'm going to push that cardboard tube right out. Don't worry about the plastic. The plastic is going to stick to the clay. You can see that tube is starting to come out. I sort of put my fingernail on it and pushed. Sometimes the plastic comes out. As I said, I have too much plastic going on. I really needed a piece half this size, but that just happened to be what I had today. So now we have two pretty similar tubes. One is curved because it came through the extruder, and the other one we just rolled out. Okay? Now the beauty of this particular size tube is that this guy, it fits. So that helps me make my next steps, okay? But we're not quite ready to be shaping the owl. We're gonna make an owl this morning. We're not quite ready for the owl. So I have a popsicle stick here, a big one, tongue depressor, and I want to smooth the inside seam. See the inside seam? Let's see. Can you see that? Anyway, there's a seam, it's on the bottom right now. I'm drawing a line with the popsicle stick across the seam in the direction it wants to go. And I just did it halfway in, and then I used my finger to smooth it the rest of the way. Okay, so I have a pretty good looking seam here. We are going to determine which side we want to be the front of the owl, so I always put the seam in the back because I feel like that's a good idea. And then I'm going to basically make a rounded top on this. I've been making golems like this lately, so I'm kind of going after the golem shape here, but I'm going to fix it. You can use your knife to cut off if you have too much on each side. do that.
So at this point, I'm going to be using my round end roller and my plastic. You always want to use the plastic because it keeps the clay from sticking. And two tools that might be handy right now might be your little roller, or your pony roller if you have one, or a paddle. And if you don't have a paddle, you can use these two.
This. Or like this.
So the idea is you just work with it for a while until you get kind of a, I'm looking for an owl-shaped head sort of, so I'm just basically looking for a round head. I hardly know where the front and the back are at this point. It doesn't really matter unless you want it to matter. This is where the paddle comes in super handy to smooth out all the little bits. And if you want to use a little water, use a little water. A lot of water is for wheel throwing and a little water is for hand building, just a little. Otherwise the clay can get weak.
I don't usually use water. Is it making sense? Okay. I was like, how am I going to teach? I teach workshops now, so I'm like, how am I need to make tools that people can use, you know, that I can help them with, get their successes.
Plus, you can make projects pretty quickly, which is good for us.
Yeah. So this is looking pretty good. I can kind of still see where the front and the back are. I probably should have made it a little bit taller, you know, I don't know. You know, you're up here in front, you're a little nervous, you're like, is it long enough? I hope so. Get out of my way. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. You could probably even roll it like this a little. Okay, so that's looking pretty good to me.
So now I'm going to make the owl's face. I want to make sure he stands up straight though. Actually, I'll do face last. Is that right? Yeah, face next, tail last. Because you want to be able to lay him down if you need to. So tail last.
This comes out, and then the plastic comes out. Make sure he stands up straight. Okay, so we kind of know where we want his head.
Owls have big eyes that kind of face sort of forward. So we might try using the round end roller to push in kind of the eye part. You always want to support it a bit, so I'm going to support it from the inside with my fingers while I press in the large eyes. I think that looks decent for an owl. I have another tool that I made. I call it the long thumb tool. So
So this is from the Dollar Tree. I get a toilet brush. I unscrew the brush part, and then I found that they had some badminton birdies, and I took the rubber tip off the badminton birdie and I screwed it onto the screw part of the toilet brush. And this is the long thumb tool. It's pretty handy. You hear about my long thumb tool?
No, that's cool.
This is the long thumb tool. So this is, I went to Dollar Tree and I invented it. So it is a toilet brush, and I unscrewed the brush part, and then they had badminton birdies there, and I took the rubber tip off the badminton birdie and I screwed it onto the screw part on the toilet brush. And I call it the long thumb tool. Thank you. So I made my eye sockets for my owl using the round end roller and the long thumb tool. And then I have a pencil eraser tool. You've probably seen these pencil eraser tools. They make pretty good eyeball. Always supported on the inside before you press in. Starting to look like an owl a little bit. Okay. Oh, did you get it? Okay. And now, I would say probably the beak is next. So I'll take one of the shoulder corners, you could say, and I'm going to make a beak. If your clay starts cracking when you're trying to roll it up, just get a drop of water, put it on your palm, and then roll your ball again. So I roll it out into like a teardrop shape, and then since it's going to be attached to a round surface on the face, so I'm going to press in the other part and make kind of a triangle. So that's going to be the beak. Now I got to attach it to the face, so I will often, the connecting parts, I'll pull it out a little bit wider so it's easier to connect, or a more secure fit. So I've kind of pinched it all the way around. Now I'm going to take my scratching tool, also known as the scoring and slipping tool, if I can find it. Where are you? No? Well, if you can't find it fast, then use your needle tool. Figure out where you want it to go, and you can actually take your needle tool and draw a circle around the edge so you know where it's going to go. This beak is sticking out too far. I like my beaks to go down a little far, so I'm going to bend that beak. So I drew a circle where it's going to go, and now I need to scratch up both sides, both on the beak and on the owl's face. One drop of water should do ya. Now I placed it there, but I got to really attach it, so I'm going to use a dry finger to try to really pull that beak in to really meet up with the face of the owl. Is this how you make them? Is this how you make little creatures? Oh, to make the face. Oh, that's cool. Cool. Okay. I think this is looking pretty good. I mean, you could make the beak differently, but today this is how it ended up. Now, owls have a lot of feathers around their eye sockets, so we're going to put in some things that are going to look like feathers. Let's see what I got going on in my toolbox. Hang on, I'll find something. This is a chopstick that has pencil sharpener point on one end, and then it has a 45-degree angle on the other end. And so that's what I'm going to use to make my feathers around the eyes today. You could probably do 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock to start, and then fill in around so that you have nice and even looking feathers around the eye sockets. You didn't need me, did you? Oh, okay. Oh, no, cool.
Very just about
Pardon me? Oh, underneath?
Yeah.
Oh, should I just restock? Well, cool. Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, you can kind of see where we're going with the owl feathers around the eye socket here. And so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I use the 45-degree angle on each side of a chopstick. That's the tool I'm using for this little technique. So you could start like this at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then fill in around. And then you get pretty even feathers. Okay, so this is the face of the owl at this point. So probably the next step is going to be the tail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece here, and I'm going to make a ball about the size of a quarter, but it's going to be a sphere, and we're going to make a little 3-prong tail like that. Okay. You don't want to get any air in there, so when you squash it from the crease out, so you're not getting any air trapped inside of there, okay? If you need to join two pieces, make sure they both have a flat edge to join them on, so you're not getting like a little crease with air between the two pieces you're joining. And then drag the bigger bits over the smaller bits so that it makes a good seal. And if it gets crackly in your hands, what do? You take a drop of water and put it on your palm. Okay. I have so many people watching today compared to last year. It's so exciting. Okay. So once I have my ball that's pretty good, I think it's pretty good, I'm gonna squish it into a coin that's about a 1/4 of an inch thick. Now it might want to crackle or crack as I'm doing this, and so I might need water to rub the cracks out. You could use your tools. Any tools you want. Demonstrating the tools. Okay. Once you have a coin, basically, it's going to be about like a silver dollar, if anybody remembers what those look like. But it's going to be a lot thicker, about a 1/4 inch. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, and if it's not clean, I'm going to clean it. This is where I wear an apron because it just, wipe things on it all the time. Okay, if there's a nicer looking part of the coin, then put the nice part up. And I'm going to cut it halfway through into furs, but kind of aiming toward the center a little. Something like this. Then I can pull them apart a little bit. Like that. And then I'm going to squish out the top part because the top part needs to be attached. So I'm going to squish it out. And if it doesn't quite look right, you can mess with it. So you can mess with it. You can mess with it a little bit, and you kind of get something that looks a little bit like a tail, like a tail. So I end up with something that looks kind of like this. I want to figure out where the tail's going to go on the back end now. Probably something like that. So I take my needle tool and I'm going to draw a line around where the attachment's going to be, like that, and then scratch it up there. And then with a drop of water, I'm going to scratch this side too, and I'm going to attach it. If you don't have confidence putting your hand inside to support it, you can use your round edge roller, which I'll use just to show you. Plastic on it. So you don't want to shove your round edge roller all the way in, or you'll push out the eye sockets. So just a little ways is probably good enough. You definitely want to stand up so
you got to make sure that tail is not causing it to go like this.
I'm not doing the greatest job, but you get the idea.
Do you teach classes locally at all?
In Portland. Sorry. Yeah, I just started. So, sometimes the tail feathers want to crack where the cut is, so you might want to take a brush. Remember, we're not doing it too wet when we hand build. So get your brush wet and then dry it off a little bit, and then you could kind of run it around inside the cuts on the tail to smooth it. I think I might normally work on that tail just a little bit longer, but for today's purposes, I think we're going to call that good. Now, if you were thinking that I would like to see some feathers on that bird, you could. This is a 1/4-inch square dowel, and it makes a decent feather look, so I will just demonstrate. I do it as a diamond pattern. If you need to support your bird, remember you have the tool right here.
You can have my chair. There we go. Thanks so much. Yeah. Oh no, it's
So you can see I'm making a diamond pattern, and I'm making the down edge of the diamond pattern a little bit deeper because that's where the stains will make it a little bit darker. So I probably won't do the whole bird because we might move on to another bit unless y'all want me to just keep putting feathers on. Let's see. What is my tool? I have a tool.
for the feathers.
Yeah, I lost my. Oh, here it is. I'm kind of new to this, so I get nervous a little bit.
I think I'm going to use this guy at the top. So we can support the top of the head a little bit better.
So those tools look like fowls. There's a little lost as
No, please go.
You can see I'm kind of starting with the diamond pattern. You can do the diamond pattern all the way down the center line to the back, and that's a good way to kind of keep yourself organized for the feather idea. And down the front too. Just don't feather the beak. It doesn't have to be perfect because nature isn't perfect.
There's nothing masterful about it.
So have you ever tasted or something? Oh, it's good.
I don't know what it's
I was dressing regular. So
So you can see it's starting to look a little bit like feathers. I mean, there are other ways to make feathers. This is just one of them. So are there any questions on the owl at this point? You like it? Okay, good. It's not perfect, but it works. This actually isn't the clay I usually work with, but it's a good clay. I usually use Georgie's white salmon with grog. I just like the pale color because it shows glaze colors really, really well. This is Georgie's G-Mix with grog, which is perfectly fine with clay too. It seems to be a little bit cracklier today. So, okay. We should probably use that guy. Okay, let's do that. So we have an extrusion we made a little bit earlier, and it is a macaroni noodle. So I usually try to work with that macaroni noodle shape. Quite often I will make a demon with a macaroni noodle like that. So I think that's what we're going to do today. Dude or a demon, depending if they have horns or what kind of teeth I give them. Now, if you're looking at this one, I really don't like that big of a curve. You can certainly cut it off. But remember, we're going to be making the top of a head, so it's okay. I feel it's okay to have this much of a curve when we're making a dude or a demon. So I'm going to be making the top of his head at this point.
I didn't think so.
I haven't been using my extruder much because I've been developing classes with these for my workshops because I'm new to workshop teaching. But I want to make sure it's something that people can do. Oh, maybe you're not going to fit. I do want to try to support the top there a little bit. We'll see how it works. Okay. So I'm going to bend two edges in and then fold the other two over like an envelope, I guess. And I'm working with the front curve being the face. It's a little drier, so I'll be doing some scratching and scoring and maybe even patching. We'll see. Natalie, I started early because I'm not working a job, so I just thought, why not give some entertainment?
That's why I wasn't here. I apologize.
It's okay. I got this one going.
Okay.
We're at an hour already, so I can send it to you and you can patch it in if you want. I mean, this is on my board, so it might be kind of handy to have both. Get my fingers way up there. So the top of the head looks terrible right now, but we're going to keep working on it to round it off and make it into a head. I'm working on making it a demon today. That's what I'm working on next. Okay.
I saw a woman walking around with one of your pots.
I'm scratching right across the seam because I do want to try to join them, so let's see if that helps.
scratching tool. At this point, you can hardly tell it was a macaroni noodle. You know, it's straightening itself out because we're making the head out of the most curved part we have. I just wish that one could. Now I know. Bring this one for demos.
Over there.
I'm using my long thumb tool to support from the inside and kind of push out where it wants to dent in. I will show you my long thumb tool and I'll tell you what it is again, because I see we have some new attendees in the audience. This is the long thumb tool that I invented. And I went to Dollar Tree and got a toilet brush with a screw-up head. I unscrewed the brush, and then they also had a Dollar Tree badminton birdies, and I took the tip off a badminton birdie and I screwed it onto the toilet brush handle, and this is the long thumb tool, and it's great. And then this is my round edge roller, and it's a 2-inch dowel, cut about a foot tall, and then I glued a half dome on it, and so it's great for supporting on the inside and for rolling. Those are 2 tools I invented, which is cool. So at this point, I'm going to stop messing with his head. I think it's pretty close. If I was at home in my studio, I'd probably mess with it longer. And I have a tool that's a little bit smaller than the round edge roller that actually fits inside the extrusion. And I didn't bring it. I thought this would fit in there today, but it didn't quite. So we have kind of a demon with kind of a skinny top of the skull. We could work with that because I think it might work well with horns. So I think this is looking pretty good. So you want to figure out where the front of the face is going to go? I'm going to use that edge for the front of the face. Right there, the front of the face. Now your face, your head is kind of wedge shaped. So we're going to put in a little bit of a wedge shape to start so that we end up with the right size head. You can see that the front of this guy's head is a little more wedge shaped from the side, it's wider, and in the back it's rounder, but the front is sort of wedge shaped. So we're going to put a little wedge on this guy. I think that looks pretty good for a wedge shape to start with. How I like to do it is I figure where his eyes are going to be, press in his eye sockets, but then I work from the bottom up because the eyes are most important. You want to place them, but you don't actually put them in until after everything else is in, because you want the eyes to look decent. Okay. I put the eye sockets in. That's the next step. And now I'm going to go down and figure out if I want a chin or where the mouth is going to go. He looks like he has a start to a chin already, so I'm just going to go with that. Right at the very, very bottom. It looks like he sort of has a little chin poking out this. We're going to go with it. And because I paused the extruder, there's a little bit of a line there. I'm going to make that his mouth line, just because I got a little line to work with. You have a muzzle, whether you know it or not. So we got to kind of work with the muzzle that we got.
Anyway, and then the other person said, and I said, this is the longest knife ever. And she goes, oh no, it's always like this. I said, no, it isn't. And the other man said, she's right, it is never. So she said, maybe we should announce that this is an option, especially if you like.
So that's the beginning of the top part of his muzzle. And then what I'd like to do is I like to put the lips on. I don't always make a face the way that classic people make faces, because mine don't have to look like people. They just have to look like characters.
Sounds about my son.
This pointed on both ends Tootsie Roll is going to be his lips, but I also like to work on teeth before I put the lips in, because it's hard to put the teeth behind the lips once the lips are in. So that's going to probably be his lips, probably. I'm working on his teeth now. I'm going to give his upper gums, I'm going to kind of define his upper gums so that I have a place to put his teeth. So his teeth are going to go in there. And I'll take my roller and roll this a little bit flatter. We're not done, but this is going to become his teeth. I'm rounding the edges of this kind of rectangular piece to decide which side I want his teeth to come out of. I think I know. Sometimes I will make the side teeth smaller than the middle teeth. So I've started his upper gums with a smile, and I like smiling monsters sometimes. We're going to give him human teeth today, not spiky teeth, but you could use either. What's this guy at? Oh, he's got human teeth. So, I've got it a little bit narrower on the edges, a little bit. And then I'm going to use the back of the fettling knife to make the differentiations between each tooth. And I start in the middle. So it's starting to look like teeth. And
I'm gonna just clean this up a little bit and then pop it into his mouth. Okay, so now I'm going to see how his dentures are going to fit.
This? So now I'm going to do a little scratch, a little score and slip, little scratch in water, and put the teeth in. I don't worry too much about attaching the teeth super duper well because the lips will hold the teeth in. So I'm going to now work on the lips, but his teeth are basically where they need to be. This coil that's pointed at both ends, I'm going to cut it in half down the middle to make two mostly even lips. Okay, so here come the lips. You might be thinking, wow, who punched him in the mouth? That looks like a pretty big lip, but we're not done with that lip, that's why. So I take that lip, the top end of it, and I pull it up so that you just see the bottom half of that top lip. Clay's a little dry right now.
You can see where the cut started here. I'm pulling this lip up. So that's what I'm working on now. If it looks like there's parts that don't look that great, you can always take a brush, get it wet, dry it off, and just draw a line with the brush just to clean up a little bit along the tooth line, which is what I'm going to do. So that's the top lip there. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom half.
Yeah, they can just leave it.
The bottom lip should be a little bit longer than the top lip because it has to fit around the smile.
always go over the teeth if it's not quite long enough. I mean, you just fudge it until you get it to look good.
Social media.
And now the way that we pulled up the top lip, we're going to pull up the bottom lip now on this guy. I don't like out of water. I think I got thirsty. Well, he's not behaving exactly like I'd like, but he still kind of looks like a dude, you know. I guess I should have probably covered this clay with a little plastic here. But he's gonna be good now. I can always put a beard on him if I'm working or something, you know. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the nose. Last year I had children directing me. That's why we ended up with a really long nose and really long horns last year. So we'll see. I'm kind of looking for a pyramid/triangle shape with the nose here. Maybe a little more clay. Yeah, maybe more. Ooh, big nose. Maybe we'll make a cartoon nose today. Yeah, big nose. Good. No worries. So I'm going to shoot for it with a cartoon nose. I'm shooting for more of an oval. You always have your tools if you need to give it a little bit of smack in here to round it out right. That's a pretty decent cartoon nose. Gonna have a big cartoon nose kind of going on there. So we got to make a way to attach it. So that's what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, we'll make the cartoon nose go up a little, I think. Just like that. Good, I like it. Okay, I think it's going to be something like that. Kind of a big old cartoon nose. So once again, I take my needle tool and I'm going to trace where he gets attached around the edges.
That's quite the nose.
What?
That's quite the nose.
Yeah, well, they don't have to look like real people. I like them to look kind of funny. And then I'm going to scratch where that nose is going to go. And they're not really watching over there. I don't have to worry about them. Yeah, drop of water. Looks like enough. And we draw it like this. Okay, so now we got to support pour from inside while we do what we did with the lips. We gotta go around, make sure it's really well connected. At this point, you might want to make sure he's symmetrical. I mean, you don't have to. Sometimes it'll make them smile on one side more than the other. Now, there's something you may not realize in that your nostrils take up most of the real estate of the underside of your nose. So if he's got a big nose, he's probably going to have some pretty big nostrils. Let's see. Like a good tool. Ooh, maybe a handle. Yeah, maybe a handle. Yeah, that's quite a nose, all right. Now you can certainly push out a little bit of cheekbones here going on like this if you want. Fill out his face. You can give him a kind of square head up top if you want. That's good. Give him a little square head. I kind of like it. Because he's a character, he doesn't have to look like a person. That's the most important thing. Okay, so his nose is not perfect, but it's attached. So that's the most important thing. And today, I'm not worrying about perfection. Yeah, that looks pretty symmetrical, so I'm going to work on some nostrils here. I do try to make my nostrils fairly symmetrical.
If I taught a class like this to my kids, you know there'd be boogers and stuff in there, right?
They could do it. Now I kind of smashed his nose making nostrils because my nostril tool's not with me today. Watch. You know, he's a character. He could have a dented nose. It's okay. You know, it's just the maker's mark, right?
He needs a wart now.
So you see the nostrils take up a fair bit of real estate there. Yeah, where do you want it? A little bit of real estate on the nostrils there, but that's realistic. I mean, if he didn't have big nostrils, he'd be walking around talking like this, and that wouldn't really be very realistic. Okay, so now we're ready for the eyes. Like I said, you're going to push out cheekbones, now's a good time. Good. And he's not symmetrical, but he's fine. He's fine, right? So, with the eyes, I make a large circle, or bowl, and then I cut it in half. Then my eyeballs are the same size as each other. Now, if you wanted some Marty Feldman eyes where one's bigger than the other, then you can cut it unsymmetrical, but I like my eyeballs pretty symmetrical. Let's see if this is going to be... I don't always know if it's the right size till I roll up one. And I try to make them pretty round. That's too big. That's too big. So I cut it in half again. That's okay. That might end up being an eyelid or an eyebrow. I think that looks like a good size for the eyeball. Show the camera there. So I'm going to make, oops, come out, eyeball. I make two of those so they're like, okay. Now I do a little bit of scratching in there to make sure he's attached. Maybe I'll use the pin. The eyeballs generally don't fall out because I put eyelids on. So I'll still just do a dab. So I put them in and then I I hold it inside and give it a little squish, like that. And now it needs like pimples or something. So I have somewhere an orange pencil eraser tool.
Orange.
Oh, orange pencil eraser tool. And then I can, if I support it from the inside, and you can make them look cockeyed, you know, or make them look in one direction. I think I'll have them looking down to one side. So I'm making them the same, but they're both kind of looking off to the side. So like that, it's kind of more realistic. And now he's going to get some eyelids. So make this and cut it in half, and then we'll make them each into a little football shape. And then I think we will roll them out a little more. Okay. Up a little more. And they don't have to be the same because this is a character. So, kind of shaping a little bit eye shape. And I might do one eyebrow kind of, and then the other one like that. You can do them differently. Okay? So I'm going to do them differently. But you want them to overlap the eye a little bit. This clay, it's very dry today. It's definitely drier than I'm used to. So I live in Portland, you know. It's never dry up there. So I'm just pushing it on for now. We're not fully attached yet. But they start to have a personality when you make the eyebrows, the eyelids different. They're giving you a funny eye, right? So now I'm going to, just like we did with the lips, I'm going to attach it like this. I don't usually have to use the big scratch tool for this job. But today, it's just being a little pain in the buttski. Okay, guess what? This is my blessing. I need my long thumb tool to support it on the inside because my fingers aren't reaching. Okay. So there's different ways to make eyelids, but you do want them to overlap the eyes a little bit because nobody walks around with pop eyes. You got an eyelid kind of over it. So now I'm going to do like an eyebrow that can sometimes be a brow too. Okay, this will work. And I tend to make them kind of symmetrical, so once again I start with a ball. And if somebody can't hear me, let me know because I can use this if you need me to. Cut it in half, so symmetrical. And I might do it a little bit, I don't like this clay. Do it a little bit longer than I did the eyelids. And it wants to crackle today, it just does. Okay, so, what do we got going here? Maybe we'll make, like he's giving you the stink eye a little bit, right? So maybe one eyebrow looks like a check mark. And it's kind of an eyebrow slash brow. How do we want this one? Oh yeah, we just go crazy here. So we'll give him something that looks like that. He's a carrot. I mean, I could scratch and connect, which is probably a decent thing to do, but quite often I just blend it in like I did the lips, right? So I'm just blending it up like this. And that's usually enough to make them stay on. Every now and then I lose an eyebrow, but you know, it's a character. It's okay. Today they're almost looking like bangs. That's okay too. Yeah, it kind of looks like hair almost. So, now if you want the eyebrows to be hairy, you can take your scratch tool, and I don't pull it because I'll get those little bits, you know, so I will just lay it like this. Kind of see where I'm going with that a little bit? So I'm just kind of laying it, and I kind of go almost underneath a bit, and then push it and lay it down. So we're giving it the hairy eyebrow. Pardon me? Oh, I thought it. Nope. Hearing somebody over there. Okay, so there we got some hairy eyebrows going on. Now, if you're of a certain age like I am, sometimes, you know, they can't all be youthful. Some of them have to have crow's feet. So you just take your needle tool and you come off the bottom of that eyelid, and you can just do a couple of lines like that. So
That really adds.
it adds character. So you could add some, and depending on how long you want them to go back, you can just blend them out on the back end there. Okay, so now we promised this would be a demon, so that means we need some horns. He looks pretty good as a dude. I make dudes and demons, so we'll make this guy a demon. You guys want horns, right?
Yeah.
Horns? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I heard a voice. Yeah, we want horns. Well, I tried to make my horns symmetrical. And my clay is dry today. Stop being so dry. Okay. Like I said, when you fold it, you pinch it on the fold end first, so you're not trapping any air in there. And then you can fold it the rest of the way. So like I said, once again, you fold it first on the fold end, then the rest of the way. You don't want to trap any air. That's bad. Let's just make kind of something, an oval, a ball, something like that. Our goal is just to make two pieces of clay that are the same size. So sometimes a ball is the easiest way to figure out how to divide it in half. And if anybody can't hear me, let me know. I do have a microphone. Okay, so this is a ball. There we go. I just like to wipe off my tool. Cut it as symmetrically as you can. So similar to the nose, really dry clay. It is what it is. We're just going to try to roll out some horns. I think I'm going for maybe cow horns. We'll see. Just trying to get some moisture in here. I like moisture inside the clay, not on the surface. Okay. Not me. Okay. Yeah, it's very dry inside. And it's new clay. Came out of the box today. I sometimes age my clay for a year. It makes it very plasticky. Because I'm slow. I'm a slow producer, so I think I'm going to use it next week, and then I use some other clay next week. I have too many clays and stuff. Okay. So we're just going to try to make two kind of long cones, I guess you could call them. Oh, that one's really long. Maybe that one's too long. Well, maybe not. Okay. Not happy with the clay. Okay. And like before, we're going to make kind of a triangle point like with the nose so we can connect onto the head. So these are similar, maybe not exact. Wow. Now, whatever. I'm having moisture problems. Okay, we're going to attach them now. Figure out where you want them to go. Now we're going to curl them up after they're on. I just want to know where they're coming out of the head. These ones, they wanted them up high. I think I'm going a little bit out to the sides here. Something like that. And they don't have to be even, but I like them fairly symmetrical on the head. So we want to draw a little bit of lines around it so we can see where it's going to attach. That's one. We kind of have an idea. Yeah, we kind of have an idea. Okay, now we can take our scratch tool and we're going to scratch up where it's going to get attached to on both sides of the head. And then on our little connector points. There we go. And then maybe a drop of water on each of these. So now, because I pinched those edges out, it should be fairly easy to draw those out for the connection. You want to support it inside a little bit, but I'm kind of using my thumb to draw out that little, you can call it like the brim of the witch's hat, I guess it looks like at this point, kind of. And if you need a tool, because you're too close to that eyebrow or the eyelid, you can certainly use some little tools. There's lots of little tools available. Let's see. And because it's a character, once again, it does not have to be perfect. And it's not going to stay that long forever. We'll put some shape on those horns in just a second. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now maybe we'll go back and then up. I'm trying to kind of make them even, and then maybe out. Does that look pretty cool?
He's coming off the side on your right.
Ah, see, you're trying to escape, are you? And I've ended up squishing his head a little bit through all my working, so yeah, that's not a bad horn shape though. So you could always like get in there and give him a little more cheekbone again, push it out from the inside. And you could always like push it in between his eyes a little bit too, like I just did. That also helps widen it a little bit. And if you lose your crow's feet and you want your crow's feet back, now's a good time to do that. There's my needle tool. Or you could use like a popsicle stick and give him some crow's feet. Like that. So now, that's not bad. See what I got going on there? A little bit of crazy. So there's, what else can we do? My bag of tricks here. Where is it? Ooh! Oh, here. So sometimes I will put textures on this guy. There, going on. That'll work. Sometimes. Yeah, thank you. These cartoon nose.
Well, what I especially like about this is the way that
His horns go. Thank you. So at this point, if you wanted to play with him some more, you could give him a butt. He's got a line going on anyway. You could give him a little butt. Maybe push out some buns. Whoop. This clay is quite dry, so we're not going to give him much of a butt, but you could give him a little butt. And then quite often I texture. He's just too dry to texture today, I think. But quite often I will, you know.
What is that?
This is just a texture tool.
Okay. Where did you get it?
I've seen them online. My sister got it for me at a store in Denver. But so it has different tips you could put in. And so actually this one looks better. But you can, because monsters don't have smooth skin, right? Oh, why is there a crack going up the back end? That's annoying me. But you could try giving them some textures. Just that this clay is very dry today. Why is there a crack up the back? I don't know. I'm going to try to seal that crack a little bit there. Well, you get the idea. And so I'm giving I think a demo for like a let's see, it's only 1:30 now. I might go get a bite to eat. And then
But you started at 11:15.
I did. I started
And
early.
it's 1:20 now.
Yeah, I might go get a little bite to eat and I'll just leave everything and I'll come back and I'll keep demoing.
Okay.
You don't have to keep I mean, you probably got enough material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I have room on my phone for a big video. I think you have to send that to Kendra.
I will. Yeah, and hopefully she can edit things because I don't know how to edit things.
Yes.
But this kind of gives people an idea
Very,
of
very
what you can
cute.
do. And even though we ended up with that curved shape, he's pretty straight up and down. Remember we had that macaroni shape.
Okay, so you buy this at the store and it's battery, and then where do you get these?
Oh, you must have missed the very
Yes,
first
I
part.
did.
No worries. Those are from Little Chip Tools. She's out of Boston, but if you look up Little Chip Tools, it's a retired engineer, a gal. I think her name is Helen, and she has a 3D printer.
Ah.
And so she kind of designed these. Apparently she's a friend who is into pottery who said, hey, you got a 3D printer, can you make me a thing? Little Chip Tools. And this is a 12 volt. You can take a picture of that label if you want. But Lowe's sells them, Home Depot sells them, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take like a 10-minute break and then I'll come back and keep
What's the
going.
start? 10 minutes from now.
I know. But I just wanted people to be entertained.
That's wonderful that you.
I'm going to come back and keep going.
Well, you have a lot of energy to do that. I'm going to.
Here, I'll turn that over. There.
I'm going to email you to find out where you
Yeah, Little Chip Tools, yeah.
get Little Chip Tools.
This is really quite clever.
Isn't that? Well,
Yeah.
she sold those and I thought, what could I use those for? And I thought, soap or
Business
soap or
cards.
sponge, business cards. Some people put eyeglasses in it, so you know where the heck your reading glasses
Yeah, that
are,
makes
right?
sense.
But these were all made with tubes.
What did you use for this picture?
There is an MKM. That one I rolled little balls and pressed it.
Okay.
But this one, there's an MKM wooden roller, which I forgot to bring. That's
Okay.
a short one, and it looks like it has hollows, right, all over
Okay.
it, so that when you roll it, they're 3D.
It bumps up, yeah.
It bumps up. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be doing a class in the spring.
Okay. And then this is a tool my sister got me, and it has interchangeable tips. And so I just tried to put like a couple of bumps on him with that, and so that's not bad too.
Cool.
Yeah.
You have thought through a whole lot of
Thank you.
clever tools. Yeah,
Well, I'm
really
trying
great.
to, like I said, I want to teach. I'm teaching my workshop, so I want to make sure my students have the tools for
Yes.
success.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's still running. I suppose I should turn it off.
Bye. See ya.